Truro School's new sports centre was officially opened today by a former pupil, the most successful sailor in Olympic history, Sir Ben Ainslie. The first port of call was at the school's Boral Theatre, where Sir Ben took questions from 146 of the school's 200 elite sports students.
What are your new impressions of your old school?
It's in some ways things haven't changed, in terms of the infrastructure with the old building, but of course they have here with this theatre and now with the new sports centre. And it was really interesting, catching up with some of my old teachers and certainly my old games master, and we were talking about 25 years ago. I'm showing my age, when I was studying here, and we really didn't have that many high performers in terms of sports nationally or even at a county level. And really to hear the results, the performances from everyone here and all the students here, it's very impressive to hear the results that you've been getting, the achievements. Certainly it sounds like we've got some pretty good fencers in this school amongst other sports. And that is really great to hear, and I think that's, I think sport nationally has come a huge way in the last 20 odd years, and certainly when you look at our performance at an Olympic level, in 1996 when I started sailing and being involved with the Olympics, we had 1 gold medal, and then of course in the last Olympics last year, I don't know exactly how many we had, but we had our best performance ever as a nation. So I think that tallies in with what you're achieving here at the school. So, of course, things have changed in terms of the infrastructure, the look of the school, but also in your achievements, and that's certainly something to applaud, so well done.
Thanks very much, Ben. And just casting your mind back to when you were at school, standard question everyone wants to know, what was your favourite subject at Truro School?
Well, it wasn't physics, that's for sure. I think history was my favourite subject at school, and I wasn't, again we were laughing about this, I wasn't a fantastic natural sportsman. I enjoyed playing hockey and cricket, and so I love being out, with the sports. Rather than being in the classroom, I have to admit, I'm sure most of you would probably admit to that as well, but the academic side of it is really important, and history was the subject which I really loved.
Why do you think you're so driven to succeed?
Well, I think there are a number of reasons why, when you look at people who have succeeded and achieved things, part of it comes from having a desire to do that. Part of it comes from, like I said earlier, having the right support and being smart about it. But you're right, ultimately you do have to have that desire. That's really what I think sets the achievers out from the non-achievers, is making that extra effort. There are a lot of talented people in this world in anything that you do in life, and the difference is what you're willing to apply to that, how much effort you're willing to put in to make those goals a reality. Back to your point, I think part of it is actually from my school days. Like I said, when I was at school, I wasn't particularly talented in many sports. I wasn't a naturally gifted sportsman, if you like, but in sailing I found something that I was really good at and I loved, and that was my way to sort of express myself and try and achieve something with my life, and I was very determined to try and do that.
Charlie Armstrong, one of our sports scholars on the front here. Charlie, what's your question for Sir Ben?
What are your top tips for school athletes to become world champions?
It's about having a dream, but also it's about enjoying your sport, what you're doing, and I think you have to be very careful at a young age not to put too much pressure on yourself. Certainly I remember when I was growing up, a lot of the kids that I sailed with were under a lot of pressure to try and do well, and if they didn't meet those expectations, then they would get frustrated or they would want to do something else. And really, if you enjoy a sport, then that's the most important thing. And as you'll find, as young people develop, they develop at different stages. So just because your best friend happens to be so much better at cricket or hockey or fencing or whatever it is than you are at this age, doesn't necessarily mean that that will be the case in 2 or 3 years' time.
Thank you. Laura Vegan joined us this year from Germany. She's a German international sailor. Laura Vegan, what's your question?
What is your favourite moment in the Olympics?
Well, the favourite moment in the Olympics was undoubtedly this last Olympics, and for the first time in sailing, we were really in Olympic sailing, we had the final races under this headland called the Nove Headland in Weymouth in Portland, which turned out to be a fantastic spectator vantage point. So we had, I think it was 30,000 people on this headland, and so to be able to race in front of a home crowd like that and ultimately to win a gold medal on home waters and share it with those people, those supporters, was the most amazing experience, and it'd be hard to ever top that in terms of the Olympics.
Ben or Sir Ben?
Ben, yeah.
Cornish pasty or Cornish cream tea?
Pasty.
Cornwall or England? Not a trick question. We've got Cornish people here.
Cornwall.
Optimist or laser?
Optimist.
Optimist or pessimist?
Optimist.
I expect nothing less of Sir Ben Ainslie, or Ben to his friends. Thank you very much, Ben Ainslie, everybody.
Later, Ben was given a tour of the £4 million centre by another Olympian, our headmaster and Oxford rowing blue, Andrew Gordon-Brown.
Sir Ben is at the back of the room with the headmaster. Please stand and applaud Sir Ben Ainslie.
I was offered the job as the 10th headmaster of Truro School in December 2011. And the building of the Sir Ben Ainslie Sports Centre started in July of 2012. So the final decision when I was offered my job, the final decision to build a sports centre or not hadn't yet been taken. And it was only decided at an extraordinary meeting of the governors in May of 2012 that the green light was given. And so, in truth, I didn't have much to do with the decision to build a new Sir Ben Ainslie Sports Centre, other than to add my enthusiastic support for what I knew would be a transformational facility for Truro School. And we can all look back now and say, it was a no-brainer. But I think that the governors should be applauded for taking the decision to build the Sir Ben Ainslie Centre. It was a bold statement about where we're headed as a school, and it was a decision taken at the time when Cornwall, and indeed the rest of the UK, were very much in the sort of economic doldrums. And so I guess my first thanks go to the governors for taking the bold decision to undertake this fantastic project.
It's now my pleasure to ask Sir Ben to unveil the plaque and formally open the centre.
Well, it brings back a lot of fond memories of growing up here, going to school here. The school has obviously changed an awful lot in the last 25 years, and it was a great school back then, and it's an even better school now, so it's an honour to be here. And CDT was the only subject I actually got an A grade in. I shouldn't really admit to that, should I? But, anyway, it was a funny story because Mr. Keem, who was working with Mr. Toole back in those days, phoned up my dad. He said, "Look, I'm sorry, it's just not. His son's just no good at this subject. It's not going to happen."
He was good at that.
And you managed to turn me around. So thanks for that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. My claim to fame.
The only A grade I ever got.
Absolutely delighted how it went today. Right from sort of conceiving months ago that we could ask Sir Ben to have the sports centre named after him, to then the planning for today. It's been done to the finest detail, and I'm absolutely thrilled. He had such a powerful message for the pupils, such an inspirational guy, such a humble guy. And actually to have the sports centre named after him now for Truro School, for Cornwall, and beyond is as a new headmaster, is an absolute dream, really. So very pleased.